So let's talk about your new documentary called Rhythm and Raga. Tell us a little bit about that series.
Oh, Rhythm and Raga was the making of the Unity song. And we filmed it in the villages of Pakistan with the instrumentalists, with their instruments that they had, grown up with or made or created. And it's the making of the song in Pakistan in a very turbulent time. So, one of the scenes is so in the beginning we're just trying to create the song, and we're just physically writing the song and working with the musicians. And then as we're going, we're I was doing some live performances. And at that time I did a live cricket. Cricket's huge in Pakistan.
Mm.
And so there was a massive cricket event, and they weren't sure if they were going to do it because they were worried about rioting and worrying about trouble. And um, bombs, people would just, it was a really bad time, tough time, but they did do the event, and I was the halftime show. And halfway through singing, it was probably 30,000 people. The whole audience rushed where I was standing on the pitch. And so I'm looking out, and the TV camera is here, and I'm here, and I'm looking out, and the camera people can't tell, but the whole entire audience is running full on, booking it like, oh, I go, well, this is how I went, and it was good while it lasted, and Stampede's not a horrible way to go. And so it was just an event after that happened. Stuff like that happened all the time. It was just event after event. And it's just at that time the way that people had to live, and the fact that we got the song finished was really a blessing, because it was needed. It was needed, but it was really hard to hard to get finished.
So the documentary, then, I might have missed that, but when was it? Is it released yet? Has it been out, or is it still upcoming?
It's been out. It came out in Pakistan, and so I have been meaning to get it back on Amazon. So, but it's basically, it was released on Pakistan TV because that was, what it was for.
Yeah. And how have people responded to that, those who have seen it?
Well, they really understood. They liked it, I think. They understood how hard it was too. And their things are a lot better now in Pakistan, so that's wonderful. Yeah, and I think they like it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, over your career, you've covered sort of several different genres of music and inspired many people around the world. And during the prep for the interview, I was listening to all your different albums, and I came across the Transformations one, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. I just found that, like, my mind just completely cleared, and it just opened up, and I just felt everything just calm. It's truly a great album. I really enjoyed listening to that. And the way I sort of described it was like a bit of a hybrid, I think, between traditional music and classical. And I was interested to find out if that was the case, and if that was sort of you gearing up for a return to classical in terms of your upcoming albums.
Yeah, it was the case. It was, when you were talking about loving soundtrack music, that's, soundtrack music with vocals, basically. And it's very orchestral and exciting. And I was working with a producer in Pakistan who loved to write movie soundtrack music. So he wrote to the movies in Pakistan that were released, and to India too. And so it was very big and spatial, and had these motifs. And I wanted to write an album about transformation, about spiritual transformation. And so we work together both in Pakistan many times, but also, by sending music too. And I'm really proud of that album. I think it's my most spiritually connected album. It has the lyrics are, about coming together, becoming one with yourself and spirituality, and I really love the big quality of it. The soundtrack of all of the different sounds melding with the lyrics and the vocals.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost like a sense of reflection as well. You can really sort of zone out and just really concentrate on sort of being in the moment. I think I love that. I thought it was brilliant. I really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. So more recently, you've gone back to your first love of classical music and have produced a new album, which we'll come back to in a moment. But with so much of your career focused on universal music and help spreading positive messages for people, why go back to classical and why now?
Because it's a global pandemic and I can't go anywhere. That's why. But also it feels, I go with my gut. It has always been there for me. I feel like I do have a spiritual connection that when I write music, it's me and all of the spirits writing together. Like it feels always very driven by something greater than me. And that was the message that, this is a time of intense reflection. As musicians, everything stopped for us. All of my live shows, all of my international performances, and all of the performance halls closed, all the theaters closed. And so it was a time of great and intense reflection. And I could feel a lot of, there has been so much loss. There has been so much sadness and so much anxiety and, people going through really, really painful times. And it was the feeling that I should try to write and sing music that is calming, that is spiritually calming and just physically calming. And I had done some research with my husband about classical music and music of the Baroque era specifically. And all of the statistics and studies have shown that Mozart specifically makes you feel calm. In a time of intense turbulence, he is he just helps to align your brain. And so, with myself feeling anxious, I started just recording classical opera songs from Mozart, from some of the Così fan tutte. And it was bringing me some solace. And so I said, it's interesting because I think a lot of other people kind of returned to their roots in some aspects of their life. You return to simplicity, return to your roots. And my roots were classical. And so I think that was also comforting to me. But I do know, just with statistics and with all of the studies show that Mozart realigns the brain waves to make them more in connection with each other, and really helps to relax all of the fiery goodness that's going on up there. And it brings peace. And I just wanted to bring peace.
I wonder, because obviously the music's so old. The data suggests, of course, that Mozart music is actually great for the brain. You just told us about that. But at the time it was written, he would never have known that's what it was going to be, or how his music was going to sort of influence people. I wonder what it is about the music then that kind of triggers those synapses around the brain to kind of open and connect and just kind of fly around. I don't think that's a real answer for that. It's just a kind of...
Yeah, no, it's, I have looked into it and read a lot about it, because so the cerebral cortex is the front part of your brain. And the front part has also connected with the cerebellum. And the cerebellum is where music is. So for example, where people, elderly people who have Alzheimer's, they can't speak properly and they don't have good memories, but they do have musical memories. And they can often sing complete songs And when, I don't know if you've heard these studies, this is it's the primal part of your brain. And the musical memories that are there can be easily recalled from this part of your brain when this part of your brain kind of goes. So they say that listening to music helps even out the brain waves. There's the delta and I don't know there's all the different brain waves. There's the really low ones, there's the higher ones that make you anxious and make you, worried and thinking. And when you can level out the higher brain waves, it evens out and helps the brain be more productive.
That's interesting. Just thinking about our earlier conversation about language learning, you saying it's actually easier to learn a new language if you've got music to sort of sing to, or sing like you sing the alphabet. I wonder if that's to do with the same system there. Like if you sing it, you're more likely to remember it.
Yes, here you're memorizing with your language, but if you're singing, you're using your corpus callosum to align that with a musical, the musical part of your brain, which does help to memorize. So even people with stroke or with with brain damage, they use song as part of the therapy to help get, to help bring, and then it helps bring functions.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's quite a fascinating subject when you start diving into it, isn't it?
So it's really fascinating. I can speak as no authority on this topic at all, just as a fan,
Yeah.
Yeah.